So, Mr. Nakashima, what is your job and what does it have to do with water pollution?
My job is as an environmental management specialist. So that's helping people to make the link between the environment, which includes water, resources, and sustainable development. How do we develop our towns, our communities, our state, governments to be developing in a good way, something that will be sustainable for future generations.
What are some of the most common forms of water pollution that you have encountered?
There are several different forms of water pollution that are common. The broad categories are things like nutrients, say like fertilizers or decaying material from sewage disposal systems. There are toxics such as poisons like PCBs or heavy metals that are discharged to waterways. There are things like pathogens, so that would be disease-causing bacteria and viruses and parasites. There can be things like debris, just the garbage that people throw into into the rivers and streams, or throw into the stormwater sewers, which are connected directly to our water resources. And the last form of pollution would be heat stress. So that's where the water's temperature is raised, maybe from the cooling system of a power plant, like a nuclear power plant discharging to the Hudson River, or it can be heated water that is running over the top of a hot pavement, say like a parking lot, and then running into a stream.
So, which is worse usually, water pollution or air pollution, and how are the two related?
That's a difficult question. Both types of pollution are bad, are difficult to try to manage. Air pollution, for example, can cause water pollution. So, for example, if the air is loaded with particulate matter, it can lead to things like acid rain, where the water that's passing through the air pollution picks up acid from smoke particulates, and then that acid, acidic water, falls into our lakes and streams, and it raises the pH, or it lowers the pH actually, makes it more acidic, and this can disrupt the growth cycles of aquatic organisms. And then of course, if we have global warming conditions where climate change is occurring as a result of discharges to our atmosphere, that will of course also have an impact on water, because as you raise the temperature of water, it makes it less likely, less able to carry oxygen. And aquatic organisms need oxygen. And, so in that sense, maybe global warming actually and air pollution is worse than water pollution because it has some massive effects on, can have massive effects on the distribution of precipitation. It also have, by melting glaciers and the ice caps, it changes the salinity of the oceans, which will have a great effect upon the currents, and it's the currents that are carrying water that helps to moderate the temperature extremes in our oceans, and therefore on land.
So, how bad is pollution in, for example, New York?
Compared to some parts of the world, New York is in a good situation. Compared to pristine environments, well, of course, New York is not doing so well. But then one would expect that in a urban, highly urban and densely populated section of the world like New York. But when you compare to a place like, let's say, Calcutta in India, this is a city that has millions of people also, but its infrastructure systems for handling the waste of these millions of people is much less capable than the systems that we have here in America. So overall, I would say that New York is in reasonable shape, but there's a long ways it can go in order to improve.
Thank you very much, sir.